Guys, so the first thing we're going to do when we set up a project is usually set up the levels in grids. So the first thing I'm going to do here is set up the levels. So before I start, you'll see obviously the project properties browser is on the left here, as is the project browser. One thing I tend to do is I put the project browser on the other side. If you go towards this side, it should snap on. It means that you've got both sides of your drawing area essentially workable, so you don't scroll as much either, and you can see everything a lot quickly as well. So first thing we're going to do is if you go into project browser and if you click on one of the elevations, it doesn't matter which one, it could be east, north, south, or west. Just double click on that one. You should see the elevations here. So a couple of things with the elevations and with the levels. If you click on the levels, the tick buttons indicate which side the bubble is, so that's the bubble there. So if I, for example, tick that off, and then put it on this side, it means that you can change the sides, which is on more for presentation purposes. And if you draw them on the right, if you draw them in the wrong way, you can always flip it around without having to delete and do another level again. So I'll put that back in there. Another thing here, if you select it, you should see a little purple. If you zoom in there, so you should see a little purple circle. That is pretty much the grip that allows you to grab and move that line or level line. Same thing applies to this side. That purple circle there lets you move that line. If you want to move one line individually, you have to unlock it. So that's where the lock symbols come in. So they should all automatically lock together with this. When you're drawing them, make sure you draw them to the blue line or blue dash line, and they will automatically lock together. If for whatever reason you need to change one of them for whatever reason for presentation purposes, you can unlock it and do that. So I'm going to put it back to where it should be. So if you see there, it'll go into there. It should lock together with the rest of them. It just makes it easier when you want to move all of them together. Okay, so now we're going to start to change the level. So by default, you will have level 0 and level 1 already in Revit put in for you. So what I want to do is change it to what we want for our designs, or what you want for your designs. To change it, obviously, in Revit, you've got these things called temporary dimensions that come up anytime you select a line or a component. That line or the dimension line will come up. These are temporary dimensions and are live dimensions, so you can actually adjust them, and it will move things around for you. Okay, so for example, if I click on that line, and I want this to be 3 meters, I can type in 3,000 as working millimeters, or you could essentially work in meters as well. So 4 if you wanted to. So we're going to make ours 3 meters as our floor-to-floor level of the building I'm designing. Another thing you can do is obviously add new levels. So if you go to architecture, datum, level, a couple of ways of doing this. First of all, make plan views ticked. It should be ticked by default. That means it will create a plan for you as you create a level. Okay, so that every level will have a plan associated with it. Okay, which is probably most cases that's what you want. Sometimes you can have grid lines just for your own reference point, but for the most part, levels indicate a plan that you're designing and you're working out. So a couple of ways of drawing a new grid line. You can either hover over one side and you see the temporary dimension come up, and you can use that temporary dimension to start in drawing. So that's in line with that. So again, if you use your temporary dimensions in that dash line as well, that makes sure that they are in line with the other ones, so that it locks itself in, makes it easier. Or you could just draw them in wherever you want, and then do the same thing, readjust it to what you want it, and then obviously pull it where you need it to pull it, to make sure that it is in line with the rest of them as well. Okay, so I want level 2 to be 3,000 as well, so that's adjust that to there. The next thing we're going to do is change the names of them so that we understand what we're working towards. So to change the names of these, you can click on the level itself. Don't double click, just click once and then click the title of that level. So we'll name this ground floor. It'll ask you, do you want to rename the corresponding views? Click yes, because that's going to rename our views on our floor plan in our project browser. It makes it easier to remember what we're doing. And then first floor, enter, and then I'm going to do the roof level. Okay. What you'll notice here now is that these are now being changed on this side as well on the project browser, but these are only alphabetical. Okay, so they only order them alphabetically, which might be okay, but for ease of locating it quickly, sometimes I like to add in numbers as well, just so that it orders itself. So 0, 1, ground floor. You'll see it changes it. 0, 2, first floor. 0, 3, level. Yeah, so at least it follows the same order from top to bottom on the project browser. It just makes it easier to find what you're looking for.